Don't get me wrong, there are so many games on Nintendo Switch. Like, we're getting dangerously close to being able to make the over 9,000 joke about Switch titles. There's a Miyamoto's arc full of games on this platform, and they never stop coming. But, my friends, there still are certain titles that we'd love to have on this platform. Despite so many famous franchises waltzing down Nintendo's red carpet, there are more that would be great to get in 2022, and I'm here to give you the list of the 10 games we still need on Nintendo Switch. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Make sure to let me know what game you want most still on Nintendo Switch. What port or project needs to come over to our platform before this generation is done? Let me know your take in the comments down below, and definitely hit that like button if you still like your Nintendo Switch. Now, I only had 2 rules when making this list. Number 1, the game must already be out. That's kind of obvious, right? And number 2, the game must be possible on Switch. And I'm talking both performance/graphics as well as platform exclusives. I'm not gonna be recommending God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, The Last of Us, or the latest Forza Horizon 5, because those games are impossible, and there's no point getting your hopes up. We're gonna kick this list off with a game that would benefit greatly from being able to go on the go, and that is number 10, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is the collection that comprises the Mass Effect trilogy. We're gonna ignore Andromeda, but the original 3 were super strong games with long playtimes and lots of lovable characters. In fact, this is one that I expect to arrive sometime soon because industry insiders such as Jeff Grubb said, hey, they were planning this one to come to the platform. It just wasn't ready at launch, and it would be a delayed release on Switch because it's from EA. And for some reason, they don't like Nintendo very much. I mean, there's no Madden on Switch. They're very slow with their projects. They don't even port their indie stuff. It's a bit odd. EA, why don't you love Switch like we do? But it would be good to get Mass Effect over there. I know Garrus would look great on the go. I know Shepard would look great on the go. And it would give you a chance to dive in when you're busy or preoccupied elsewhere to a world that is really engaging, and I hope one day returns to its stellar form. Number 9 is The Witness, a game that blows me away because of its insane puzzles and because it's made by Jonathan Blow. Now, the Switch has a ton of puzzle titles, and that's why this one is pretty low on the list, but I loved this game, and I think the brain burners would be great to burn into your Switch screen. The OLED does not burn it, by the way. They've tested that. I think, though, it would be a really fun fit to puzzle over these interesting and intricate designs that Jonathan Blow somehow created in a fever dream. They're some of the coolest puzzles with basic rule sets, but ones that get so much mileage out of a simple little grid. Fantastic game with a lot of deep mysteries, and one that just expands and expands the further down the rabbit hole you go. It would be a fantastic fit on Switch, as we've seen games like the Talos Principle succeed admirably. I want this one. Braid is coming. Blow. Blow over The Witness too, okay? Number 8 is the Fallout franchise. I mean, give me a collection. Give me an individual game. Give me some of each. I'd love to see this one hit. And it makes sense because Bethesda has worked to put some of their open world games on the platform. They've also put other games like Doom and Wolfenstein, so they have been really wonderful supporters of the Switch system since launch. Get your butts over to getting Fallout onto this platform. Look, we're not gonna get Starfield, okay? Makes no sense, but we could get Fallout, and that franchise would feel really nice on the go. I think the graphics and just the overall systems are old enough that they would work well. And I feel like New Vegas is the one that deserves a second chance, and the one that a lot of players would like to see and have an opportunity to go back to. 3 is the classic. 4 is kind of newish. Don't get me started on 76. So New Vegas kind of feels like the sweet spot, but if you want to really up the ante, up the value, give us a delicious collection of 3 New Vegas and 4, and ooh, that will be one of the best packages you could possibly purchase on Nintendo Switch. Number 7 brings us to a much newer game, and that would be Psychonauts 2. I mean, Psychonauts is kind of like Mario with a twist, like literally like the head twisted 360 or even 720 degrees. The game came out on multiple platforms because even though it's published by Microsoft, who picked up Double Fine, it still came to other platforms. And so Nintendo could work out a deal with their old pals at Microsoft and bring another really fitting game to our console. I think a Psychonauts 1+2 kind of combo pack game of the year type edition would be wonderful. And I feel like the game can run. Like 2 is doing a lot more than 1, but it's not so graphically intensive. It's a platformer with interesting brain-bending mechanics, and I really like the ideas of exploring people's psyche and seeing what their worlds are if personified via a video game level. Psychonauts 2 got a lot of love for its quirky storytelling and its fun characters in 2021, and I think it would receive a lot of praise on Switch as a really good linear story-driven game, kind of a genre that the Switch doesn't have a ton of, actually, if you think about it. Number 6 is a personal favorite, Dead Space Collection. All right, Dead Space is coming back in a big way, again from EA though. Why so many games on this list from EA? Well, I'll tell you why, because again, they refuse to do good work that would get them a lot of sales. Dead Space is a franchise that I think went through some highs and lows, but I feel like right now it's at an extreme high point as people are hyped for the remake of the first game on next-gen consoles. Obviously, the Switch won't be securing that one, but the original trilogy could absolutely work on Switch. And Dead Space 1 and 2 are some of the best survival horror games I've ever played. And I love the world of the Ishimura and everything that Isaac Clarke goes through. I would contest that even Dead Space 3, despite its ridiculous ending, and despite its somewhat manipulative microtransactions that would be jettisoned in a port, it's still a pretty fun time. I think a Dead Space Collection would do really well, and it's something I'd absolutely love to play on the Switch and have a chance to go back to that universe before I go back to that universe on my next-gen systems. Number 5 is Robert Pattinson's Alter Ego. I'm very excited for that movie. I think it's my most anticipated of the year. But I'm also super excited for Gotham Knights, the newest entry in the Caped Crusaders video game escapades, even though we don't think he's featured in the game. He was featured in the Arkham quadrilogy. And I think all of those games would be fantastically fun on Switch. I mean, Arkham Asylum is legendary. That is an absolute classic and a game that would play really perfectly on Switch. We also know that the platform can handle open worlds pretty well, and so games like City and Origins and even Night should be able to perform to a high level on Nintendo Switch if ported by the right studio. I think Arkham Knight is criminally underrated. I really love that game. I know some people think it's the worst in the franchise. I think it might actually be the best. And with Batman coming back in a big way with the movie and Gotham Knights, I would love to see DC download to your cartridge, because you know they'd put a code in that box, and bring us the Arkham 4-pack, or give us even 2 of the games. I don't know, break it up. Asylum and City, Origins and Night, however you want to do it, or just sell us Asylum by itself. Those games would be perfect for Switch. And if we're looking to build out just an amazing library, an amalgamation of everything great about gaming the last decade or so, the Switch needs some of these popular franchises from that era. It's that 360 era that we're kind of missing major tentpole titles, the Fallout games, the Mass Effects, the Dead Spaces, and the Batman Arkhams. But oh wait, there's more from this era, because number 4 is a Portal pack. Portal 1+2 would be so darn fun on Switch. And I think Valve needs to get with the times and say, okay, Steam Deck is super cool, it's also super expensive, and it's nowhere to be seen, so let's get some of our games onto the Switch as well. Portal 1 was an awesome puzzle title. Portal 2, though, to me, that's one of my favorite Valve games ever. I think the story there, and the writing there, and the puzzles there are perfection. And the way you explore the depths of that facility, it'll stick with me forever. The trailer, even for Portal 2, is one of the most memorable lines in video games. For me, at least. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, says GLaDOS. And man, that game has some twists and turns and a really fantastic ending. It goes places. Literally, and those portals, man, we need them back. Can't believe there has not been a Portal 3, but at least let these games live again on Nintendo Switch. We move to the podium, and at number 3, we have a tie. All right, not a place for a tie, but it's 2 games from EA that I need. 2 newer games that absolutely should be on Switch, and again, EA with their refusal. The first is Jedi Fallen Order. Star Wars, hey, we've got a lot of the older titles on the system, but newer ones deserve love as well. And Fallen Order is the best implementation of Star Wars in forever. Merging Dark Souls with lightsabers, that is delicious. We know that Jedi Fallen Order is getting a sequel that should be revealed and possibly released in 2022, so giving more love to the original on Switch would be fantastic. I think it's a game that players would really glom onto, attach to as an awesome title, and one that should be totally executable on Nintendo Switch. The other half of this tie is It Takes Two, coming in at number 3, but It Takes Two is phenomenal. It won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, for goodness sake, and it is a co-op game Missing from a platform that emphasizes co-op, you have Joy-Cons that split, and 2 people can play and you could sit next to each other and bicker and battle and work on the wonderful levels that are always varied and diverse. It Takes Two is an awesome experience to play with a friend or family member, and it's a shame that it isn't on Switch. It also has a fantastic price point at $30, another great get for Switch, where so many games see price hikes or just full price value. $30 for It Takes Two would be so instantly recommendable. And I think the nature, the look, the feel, the overall vibes of this game just fit with Nintendo. The themes are definitely darker and divorcier than Nintendo typically likes to do, but hey, the gameplay itself and that talking book, basically straight out of a Mario game. Please, EA, open the vaults. You got so many games that would be wonderful on this system, and Jedi Fallen Order and It Takes Two are at the top of my heap. Now, number 2 is a game that would be so perfect on Switch. It's again from Valve, and it is the Left 4 Dead titles. Another co-op experience with graphics that are absolutely mediocre at this point in time, and so would be magical on Switch. Back 4 Blood, some people loved it. The Anacrusis seems kind of like a disappointment. Left 4 Dead, though, still reigns supreme. It's the best 4-player multiplayer shooter zombie craziness experience that you can have, and it would do great on Switch. I think you could sell those games for like $20 a pop and put out a lot of units. And there really aren't that many shooters on Switch, so as long as this port was done palatably, it would rocket straight to the top. It's the perfect fit, and I know the Left 4 Dead audience and Switch players would mesh wonderfully. I guess the big red flag here is the reliance on online, something Nintendo often struggles with, and the system is definitely not known for consistent play. Although we've seen it perform perfectly fine with other games like Fortnite and the likes, get Left 4 Dead on Switch. The co-op excursions would be fantastic, and the ways you could all sit together in a local setting with your own Switch, enjoying this game on the OLED, playing as Coach, and wrecking some of the original zombie stereotypes like Smoker, Spitter, Tank, and Witch. I don't know, I think Left 4 Dead is an absolute no-brainer. But my number 1 game is the biggest no-brainer of all. This is a really recent game, one that won a bunch of awards, and my personal pick for the game we need on Switch. In fact, if this title comes to Switch, I would be hard-pressed to find a game I like more. The number 1 game we need on Nintendo Switch is Inscryption. If you have not played Inscryption, you are so darn lucky. Do not watch trailers, do not go read reviews. This game is absolute gold. What it starts out as and what it ends as, you are in for an incredible journey. It's about 8 to 12 hours, the perfect length, and it combines card game mechanics with exploration, escape rooms, and interesting storytelling in a way that nothing else really tops. Inscryption is indie perfection. No wonder it ended up winning so many awards, and I think it'll win awards for Switch owners if it makes its way. And honestly, out of this list, I feel like Inscryption is the most likely to appear, and soon. There's nothing holding Inscryption back, and because this game is probably being ported to consoles as we speak, they can just add the Switch version on in and work on them simultaneously. Put this thing on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch, where it'll be the best because you can take it with you and the game will look so glorious on the screen. The card game battles will fit perfectly, and I'm telling you, Inscryption is an absolute must play. That game had me absolutely addicted, a title I want merch from once it arrives, and a game that will stick with me forever. Call me crazy, but Inscryption is one of my 10 favorite video game experiences of all time, and we absolutely need it on my favorite platform, Nintendo Switch. Whew, there we have it. The 10 games we still need on Switch, but I bet there are more. I bet there's one that's just burning a hole in your brain. So let me know in the comments down below what game you think we still need most on Nintendo Switch. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. And until next time, my wonderful friends, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.